Okay, good morning. We'll start. So, last class I had given you some notes regarding soil stabilization. Okay, now what is meant by stabilization of soil? What do you mean by soil stabilization? So, soil stabilization means you know that the bearing power or the stability of the soil is not that good. Okay, bearing power means how much load the soil can bear. Okay, how much load the soil can bear, that is known as the bearing power. You'll be studying about different bearing capacity, then net bearing capacity, gross bearing capacity. There is a lot to study about that. Such things you'll be studying in soil mechanics. Okay, see, whatever we are going to discuss in transportation engineering have something to deal with geotechnical engineering also. So your geotechnical course is running parallelly. So I won't be going deeper into that case. Such things that will be taught by the other faculty. Okay. So soil stabilization means you know that the bearing power or the load bearing ability of the soil is weak. Now, what is the problem if the bearing power of soil is weak from a transportation engineering point of view? You are studying the subject transportation engineering. So from a are you able to hear me? Nice. Okay. So my question is, why should you know about the load bearing ability of soil when you are speaking in terms of transportation engineering? When you are dealing with soil mechanics, it's entirely a different thing. You are dealing with soil, right? You should know about the properties of soil. You should know about how the properties of soil need to be improved. But when we are discussing in the context of our subject, that is transportation engineering, what is the significance of soil stabilization? So in transportation engineering, as you know that there are different layers for a pavement. I think we have discussed a little bit in the last semester also. As there is different layers for a pavement. Yes, subgrade. So soil is used in the subgrade. Surabhi has commented subgrade. So soil is used in the subgrade of pavement, and subgrade is the lower layer of the pavement. The load coming on the subgrade, or the load due to all the other loads, other components, and the vehicle movement over the top of the soil, top of the pavement layer will be transferred to the soil subgrade. So it is necessary that the soil subgrade should be having sufficient quality. Okay, it should be having the ability to load, ability to bear load. So if you find, if the transportation engineering or if the designer who is designing the pavement sees that the soil is not having enough capacity to bear the load, then the engineer should think on how to modify the properties of soil. How to modify the properties of soil so that the desired strength is obtained from the pavement. Now that is where soil stabilization becomes important. Okay, it means that the improvement of stability or bearing power of the soil. How you are achieving this improvement in stability or bearing power? By use of controlled compaction. Okay, you'll be studying about compaction. We have to provide controlled compaction. Then proportioning. Proportioning means in some cases the soil may be rich in certain type of particles, and the soil at the same time may be very poor in certain other kind of particle. So in proportioning, it should be made sure that all the elements, all the required size of particles are made available in the all the required size of particles are made available in the soil sample. That should be made sure. Okay, so one method is compaction, one method is proportioning, and another method is addition of suitable admixtures or stabilizers. When we were discussing about construction materials in your third semester, I told you there are certain materials known as admixtures. Can anyone tell me what is admixture? I'll ask Shubham Prakash. Is Shubham Prakash online? Okay, Shubham is online. What is meant by admixtures? Shubham, can you tell what is meant by admixtures? Okay, no problem. I'll tell you. Admixtures means in concrete technology, we have studied about admixtures. If the certain desired properties are to be obtained from concrete, other than the usual ingredients in concrete, if you have certain specific properties in mind which should be obtained from a particular concrete sample. So in such a case, you will be adding something known as admixtures. Admixtures will be some extra material which will be added to obtain the desired property. So similarly, admixtures can be used in case of soil also. So soil stabilization basically deals with improving the bearing properties or stability of soil, and it can be obtained by either proportioning. Proportioning means if the soil is rich in some sample and poor in certain fraction, it should be proportioned well so as to make sure that it's a mixture of all size of particles. That is proportioning. Then we have compaction. That means the required density should be obtained. Compaction means you are mechanically applying load. You are mechanically applying short-term load so that the air will be expelled and required or sufficient density will be obtained. That is known as compaction. And the next method is adding stabilizers or admixtures. You are introducing some foreign material into which can alter the properties of soil, and improve the bearing ability or improve the stability of soil. So these are the different methods of these are the different methods by which you can have an improved stability in soil. Now let us see what are the basic principles in soil stabilization. The basic principles in soil stabilization includes, first one is evaluating the properties of soil. You have to conduct the test. See, in pavement designing, as you know, there are several layers, and subgrade is made up of soil, subbase and base course. That are the, I'm speaking about a flexible pavement. Subbase and base course are the topper layers, or these are the layers coming above the subgrade. These layers are made up of aggregates. So there are different tests to be conducted on all these things. So first of all, tests need to be conducted and the properties of the soil need to be evaluated. Unless until you don't know the properties of soil, how can you tell that? You have to go for a stabilization method. Stabilization means you are improving the load bearing ability or stability. So in order to improve that, you should already know how much is the load bearing ability, right? So the evaluation of property should be completed as the first stage, or is the first or basic principle in soil stabilization. Next, deciding the method of supplementing the lacking property by effective and economical method of stabilization. I already told you that there are several methods available for stabilizing the soil. So you have to select from the different available methods. There are a lot of methods available. From the different available methods, you have to select which method is the best suited from its effectiveness point and economic point. Okay. Next principle is designing the stabilized soil mix for intended stability and durability values. So once you have decided what method of stability need to be supplemented or what method of stability need to be used for obtaining the required properties, then you have to design the stabilized soil mix, which will make sure that you will get a intended, or which will make sure that you get a good quality mix. Then by considering the compacted layers, you should go for the necessary construction procedure. So these are the different principles to be followed in soil stabilization. Now, if you are going for a soil stabilization, so best method for soil stabilization, I am coming to that. Okay, there are different methods of soil stabilization. Here we will be discussing about 4 basic methods of soil stabilization. One is mechanical stabilization, then soil cement stabilization, soil lime stabilization and soil bitumen stabilization. So using all these materials, you will be stabilizing the soil. I'll be coming into the best method. Okay, don't worry. Such things will be discussed. I hope it is clear for Akhilesh. So soil stabilization may result in one or more of the following changes. Some changes will be brought about as a result of soil stabilization. First one is increase in the stability. How soil is having a increased stability due to stabilization? Because there is some alterations or there is some changes brought about in the physical properties of soil. Physical properties of soil means density of soil will be improved. What do you mean by density? Density is mass per unit volume, right? So earlier you were able to accommodate only certain mass of soil in a particular unit volume. There will be a lot of void spaces also. So improving the density means, I already told you that compaction is one method of improving the density. In compaction, what you are doing is you will be having a hammer, and using this hammer, I think you all know compaction. When we were discussing about concreting, there was one important step in the manufacturing of concrete known as compaction. I have already discussed about compaction. It's the process of densification. So such processes where the density is improved, then swelling property of soil may be improved. Certain other physical characteristics of soil may be improved. So due to certain modifications in the physical properties of soil, an increase in stability will be occurred. That is, one change is brought about by soil stabilization due to change in the physical nature of soil. Then another thing is change in chemical properties. I told you that there are several methods of improving the soil. So in certain methods, it may happen that the chemical characteristics of the soil is being altered by some other method, especially if you are going for addition of certain material. Okay, I will be discussing about what material we are adding. Cement is one material, lime is another material, bitumen is another material. So due to addition of some other material into the soil, the chemical characteristics of the soil may be having a large change. So that is another thing. Fly ash, yes, okay. Fly ash is another material. Okay, fly ash is a pozzolanic material. Fly ash is another material of stabilization. Portland slag is used. Like there are several methods. Okay, bitumen I have already told you. Good. I think others also can comment. Okay, then only it will be interactive. There are certain limitations with this kind of class, I know, but there is no other way. So try to make your comments so that at least I will be able to make sure that you are following. Okay, so soil stabilization may result in some changes in the either in the physical properties of soil, then in the chemical characteristics of soil, then retaining and desired minimum strength by waterproofing. In some cases, as a result of waterproofing, we are obtaining the desired or required strength. Okay. Now, these are the basic principles, or these are the basic changes brought about due to soil stabilization. Now, what are the various techniques of soil stabilization? The various techniques of soil stabilization can be grouped as, first method is good morning, sir. Okay, good morning. We have already started the classes, so no need of wishes once the class is started. You can just listen to the class and make comments. Okay. So based on the above principle, there are various techniques used for soil stabilization. So the different techniques used for soil stabilization are, one method is known as the proportioning technique. What do you mean by proportioning technique? In proportioning technique, you are having a large, we are having different varieties of soil, different varieties of locally available soil and aggregates. And these are mixed together in the required proportion. And after mixing them together in the required proportion, they are compacted. For example, in case if the fine grained soil is present, okay, the soil which we are dealing with is fine grained in nature. What you can do is, if some proportion of gravel or sand, you know that it is having a larger particle size when compared to fine grained soil like silt or clay. So if into a fine grained sample you are adding a desired proportion of gravel or sand, then the property of the fine grained soil can be improved. Similarly, if you are having a cohesionless soil, Okay, sand is an example of a cohesionless soil. The properties of sand can be modified by adding certain fraction of I'm sorry, the properties of sand can be added, sorry, the properties of sand can be modified by adding a certain fraction of some some cohesive soil. So this method is known as proportioning. Second method is known as the cementing agents. In cementing agents, we are adding some cementing material. For example, Portland cement, lime. Okay, lime is a, Rahul has commented lime. Lime is another cementing material, right? Or fly ash. Fly ash is not exactly a cementing material, but if mixed in proportions with lime or cement, fly ash can show cementing property. Fly ash is a pozzolanic material. What do you mean by pozzolanic material? Pozzolanic material means the material will not be having a cementing property of its own. But once the material is mixed with some cementing material like cement, Portland cement or lime, it can show cementitious property. Okay. So second method is cementing method, where you will be introducing a material having cementing property so that the characteristics can be altered. Next one is modifying agent. In some soils, the properties of soil such as swelling, plasticity, properties of soil such as swelling, plasticity, etc. can be modified. How you are able to modify the properties? You can do one thing, you can, okay, how the properties are modified? Properties are modified by the addition of certain modifying agents. The most commonly used modifier is lime. Whenever we are, so Joe, what is that comment? Joe, लकड़ी के कोयले जाला रे रखे मीट, ये वो तो फ्लाई ऐश में आता है. Vivek Rawat, I didn't understand that comment. Please explain it once more. I'm not clear about what you want to convey. Okay? एक बार फिर बोलो, मुझे ठीक समझ में नहीं आया उसमें क्या लिखा है आपने. Okay, fine. So after modifying agents, talking about wood charcoal, wood coal. Okay, yes, there are several materials. Okay, we will be discussing in detail. We'll be discussing some basic steps in detail, and we will have some assignments or some works where we can talk about more and more methods. Okay, so Vivek was speaking about wood coal. I didn't understand it properly. My limitation of language. Okay, fine. So next thing is waterproofing agents. In some cases, a compacted soil mass, which is normally stable, it may be becoming weaker by ingression of water when it is subjected to certain condition, right? Already the material is stable, but once it is having water entry into that, then the structure may be getting weakened due to this water entry. So what you can do is you can prevent the entry of water by using some waterproofing agents. So waterproofing agents will prevent the entry of water. Next one is water repelling agents. Similar to waterproofing agents, right? Some water repelling agents like Winsol resin, that's one example. So such material can be used. Then another important method is water retaining agents. So when the compacted layers are having a certain desired amount of moisture content, okay, some non-cohesive soils will be having sufficient stability. Okay, some non-cohesive soils, for example, sand is one example of non-cohesive soil, right? It is not having the property of cohesion. Some soils, like some non-cohesive soils, will be having sufficient stability when after compaction, if it is having a slight moisture content. But there is a problem. If that water is being lost, if it is subjected to drying due to evaporation, the water may be lost. And due to this loss of water, it may happen that the stability is reduced. So in some cases, you will be adding some materials which can hold or which can retain the required moisture in the soil without being evaporated. Calcium chloride is one such material. If a material like calcium chloride is used, it can retain the moisture and it can make sure that there is no loss of moisture and there is no problem with the stability of the soil. Next one is heat treatment, that is known as thermal stabilization. See, certain properties like swelling property, if you want to obtain a reduction in swelling property, you can go for heat treatment. So that is another method. Another one is chemical stabilization. Chemical stabilization means you are adding different chemical substances. There are certain chemical substances. When you are adding the chemicals, either single, either you are adding a chemical as such, or either you are adding it in combination, okay, then that will impart a lot of changes in the soil. So this is about the different soil stabilization techniques. What are the different techniques you can use for stabilization of soil? Proportioning technique, cementing technique, modifying agents, waterproofing agents, water repelling agents, water retaining agents, heat treatment and chemical treatment. These are the different treatment techniques. Now, the commonly used soil stabilization methods. There are different soil stabilization methods available. We are going to discuss basically about 4 commonly used soil stabilization techniques. What are the 4 commonly used soil stabilization techniques which we are going to study? One is known as the mechanical soil stabilization. Second one is known as the soil cement stabilization. Third one is soil lime stabilization. And last one is the soil bitumen stabilization. So there are 4 different soil stabilization methods which we are going to discuss. First one is the mechanical soil stabilization, then the soil cement stabilization, soil lime stabilization and soil bitumen stabilization. Now, what do you mean by mechanical soil stabilization? Okay, we are having a correctly proportioned material of soil. When these correctly proportioned materials are adequately compacted, you are providing adequate compaction to get a mechanically stable layer. You are providing sufficient compaction. Compaction is a mechanical means. You are providing mechanical energy. You are giving required number of blows. That is, mechanical energy is provided so that the desired property is obtained. That is an example of mechanical soil stabilization. So when we speak about mechanical soil stabilization, there are 2 basic principles in the mechanical soil stabilization. First principle is known as proportioning and second principle is known as compaction. So proportioning and compaction are the 2 basic principles in mechanical soil stabilization. What do you mean by proportioning? If you have certain quantity of soil, which is having a fine grained particle and you are having certain binder soil. So what you can do is, see, proportioning means I have already told you. In some cases, very fine soil will not be stable as such. But if certain quantity of cohesionless or granular soil is added, the stability will be improved. Same is the case with non-cohesive soils. If certain non-cohesive soils is available, which is not stable as such, you will be adding certain cohesive soil into that so that the stability will be improved. That is about proportioning. And second one is compaction. I have already told you what is meant by compaction. Now, what are the factors which affect the mechanical stability? The stability of a mechanically stabilized soil mix. Stability of a mechanically stabilized soil mix will be depending on several factors. Mechanical strength of aggregates, then gradation of particles, properties of soil, presence of salts, and compaction. These are the different factors which affect the mechanical stability of soil. Okay. Next important stabilization method. I think I have given some notes on mechanical stabilization, so I'm not going deeper. You can refer that notes. Last class, my plan was to discuss about this thing, but I was not in a position to have a live class. That's why I think you have already checked it. I have uploaded it in WhatsApp group and Google Classroom. So you can check that notes. I'm not going to discuss more on mechanical soil stabilization. So once mechanical soil stabilization is completed, okay, we will be going to the next soil stabilization method, that is the soil cement stabilization. So what is happening in soil cement stabilization? We are introducing cement, okay, we are introducing cement as a stabilizing agent. In order to improve the properties of soil, you are introducing a mixture of soil and cement. Okay, so soil cement is an intimate mix of soil, cement, and water, which is well compacted to form a strong base course. Cement treated or cement modified soil refers to a compacted mix when cement is used in small proportion to impart strength or to modify the properties of soil. That means we are already having a soil, and to improve the properties of soil, you are introducing some amount of cement. Some amount of cement is mixed with soil so that the properties of soil will be improved. Now, how the mechanism of stabilization is happening when cement is introduced into soil? In case of granular soil, for example, gravel is one example of granular soil. In granular soil, the development of stabilization or the mechanism of stabilization is due to development of bond between hydrated cement and the compacted soil particles. See, when we were discussing the construction materials in cement, okay, construction material, there was one important topic of cement. I have already taught it in last semester. So in that subject, we have discussed about the setting action of cement. In presence of water, what is happening to cement? In presence of water, cement will be forming a gel. Do you remember that CSH gel, which is set or which is having a hardening ability? So cement and water, and when it is coming in contact with soil, it will be developing a bond, and due to this bond, it will be having required stability in case of granular soils or non-cohesive soils. Whereas in case of fine-grained soil, there is one property for soils like clay that is known as plasticity. Plasticity means it's a measure of water content present in soil. In soil mechanics, you will be studying about liquid limit, plastic limit. There are certain indices for plasticity. So plasticity is a measure of the water content in soil. Okay. So if cement is added into a fine-grained soil, then there is a reduction in plasticity. Plasticity of the soil is reduced, and there is a formation of a matrix. That is the reason for which there is improvement in properties of fine-grained soil upon the addition of cement. Okay. So this is how cement can improve the properties of soil. In case of coarse-grained soil, what is happening? In case of coarse-grained soil, that is forming a bond, and in case of fine-grained soil, there is a reduction in the plasticity of soil due to this cement addition. Now, what are the factors which influence the properties of soil and cement? There are various factors which affect the properties of soil and cement. First of all, the most important property is what is the soil. So what is the soil? That means what is the physical properties of soil? Physical properties of soil including particle size distribution. To study the grain size distribution of soil, I think you have already covered it. To understand the grain size distribution of soil, we have an experiment, that is the particle size determination. You will be sieving the soil through a large number of IS sieves. There are certain standard IS sieves having a specific size of sieve opening. So soil will be sieved through such sieves, and you will get what is the particle size distribution. So particle size distribution is one important physical property of soil which affect the performance of a soil cement stabilized mix. Another one is clay content. Then specific surface, liquid limit, plasticity index. These are the different physical properties of soil. Then what is the type of soil? The cement required for providing stabilization will be different depending upon the type of soil. Okay. So these are the different soil properties which affect the performance. Another one is cement. How much quantity of cement you are introducing? Then are you adding any kind of other admixtures to cement? Such things will decide the property. Then pulverization and mixing. Better the pulverization. Pulverization means you are grinding it into fine particle. So better the pulverization and better the degree of mixing. You are pulverizing the soil cement mix into a very fine degree, and you are having a better mixing. You are having the best possible mixing. Then higher is the strength. If there is unpulverized dry lumps of soil present, the unpulverized dry lumps of soil will be reducing the strength of soil. Okay, unpulverized dry sample will be reducing the strength and durability of soil cement mix. So that is another factor, pulverization and mixing. Next one is compaction. What do you mean by compaction? I have already told you. You are having a compacting equipment. Most probably you will be having a rammer. Using the rammer, you are imparting mechanical energy. Using the rammer, you are imparting mechanical energy and you are obtaining the required density for the soil by compaction. Next one is curing. What do you mean by curing? You are supplying moisture. So during curing, adequate moisture is to be retained. And last one is additives. You are adding certain additives which can improve the properties of soil. Sodium hydroxide, sodium carbonate, calcium chloride. These are some important additives which can be added to a mixture of soil and cement. So that is the factors which affect the properties of a soil cement mix. Now, there are two methods of constructing a soil cement base course. Okay, if you want a base course, you are having a soil cement stabilized base course. There are two methods of construction. One method is mix in place method, and the another method is plant mix method. There are two methods. One method is mix in place method and another one is plant mix method. So mix in place method means the method can be done manually. You are using minor equipment or very simple equipment or maybe some heavy machinery. In plant mix method, you are having a very large mixing plant. In the very large mixing plant, you are having this preparation done in different batches. Now, for mix in place method, which means that in the place where you want to obtain the required stability, you are taking the machine over there and you are preparing the mix at the site itself. It is an in situ method. There are different construction steps. Preparation of subgrade or subbase. Then soil need to be pulverized. Then you are applying the cement into the pulverized soil and you are mixing it dry. Then after mixing it dry, you are spraying water into that and again you are mixing. Then you are spreading the mix thoroughly and you are giving the required amount of compaction. So that is the basic things about soil cement stabilization. Even if you don't know the construction procedure, it is okay. You just understand how the properties are being modified. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next method of stabilization, that is the soil lime stabilization. So we have to discuss about soil lime stabilization and we have to discuss one more thing, that is soil bitumen stabilization. Just a minute. Okay, so coming to the next topic, that is soil lime stabilization. In soil lime